Hello, good evening, welcome back to Pride Month. This week on my channel the focus is asexuality, so welcome to Asexuality Week. Asexuality means somebody who has little to no sexual attraction to people. I found that the asexual spectrum more describes your relationship to sexual attraction rather than people and the genders that you are sexually attracted to. I cannot get my words out today. For example, are you sexually attracted to anyone rather than are you sexually attracted to women? So the asexual spectrum is basically the spectrum of identities that refers to people who don't experience sexual attraction at all, or they experience it in a limited capacity, or they have a complicated relationship with sexual attraction. All of these can fall under the asexual umbrella, although they don't always. Asexuality is a spectrum. So you can have any relationship with sexual attraction and still fit on the asexual spectrum somewhere. More on this coming up later in the video. And because of this you can be both asexual and bisexual, because the asexuality part again describes your relationship to sexual attraction, and the bisexual tells us more about who you're attracted to when you experience that attraction. You can also split it in two ways to be an asexual biromantic person. You can be sexually attracted to somebody but not romantically attracted to somebody, and vice versa, and sit on the asexual spectrum or the ace spectrum. The asexual spectrum allows us to describe all of the parts of our attraction just a little bit better, so that we can understand ourselves and each other. The ace spectrum is inclusive of asexuality, aromanticism and agender, whereas the asexuality spectrum is just talking about the sexuality side of things. There is also an agender spectrum and an aromantic spectrum. Today we are focusing on sexual and romantic attraction. Agender is a different thing because gender and sexuality are separate, and it's hard to integrate it into this video, especially because I am not agender, so that's not my lane. People view the asexual spectrum in different ways. So, for example, some people view it like a Venn diagram, where you have asexuality and here allosexuality, which just means not asexual, and there's an overlap in the middle. And some people are a range of these, and some people sit outside of it. Similarly, some people view it as an umbrella. So an umbrella term, here are some asexual identities, here's someone that might experience multiple identities, a range of identities, and sits outside of it. Some people perceive the asexual spectrum to be more like this, a round circle with a colour gradient, and we've got individual ace identities plotted around in here, one in the centre. Some sit outside and some are a range. And some people view the asexual spectrum like a spectrum. So we have a straight line with asexual at one end and allosexual or non-asexual at the other end, with a range, or sitting outside, or sitting on the line, or sitting off either end. All of these are correct and there is no right answer here, but this is just some of the ways that people picture the asexual spectrum. I'm now going to talk about some of the asexual identities. These labels can all be used to describe romantic identity, just replace the sexual part with romantic. So, for example, asexual becomes aromantic, cupiosexual would become cupioromantic. We will get onto that in a minute. I'm going to start with the big five. So, asexual. Asexual is someone who doesn't experience sexual attraction to anyone. Is often used as an umbrella term to mean I sit on the asexual spectrum. Grey asexual. A lot of the definitions describe it as a grey area of asexuality, so this can be somebody who knows that they sit somewhere on the asexual spectrum but they don't know exactly where yet, or they have a complicated relationship with sexual attraction. It is often somebody who relates to asexuality even though the term asexual doesn't 100% fit. This can include people who experience infrequent sexual attraction, a weak sexual attraction, Sexual attraction only in very specific circumstances. People who are unsure whether they experience sexual attraction. They experience ambiguously sexual attraction. People who feel alienated from sexual attraction. And people who experience sexual attraction but it's paired with a low sex drive or a low desire. Even though they experience sexual attraction, they just don't feel like doing it. Demisexual. Demisexual refers to somebody who only experiences sexual attraction when they have formed a close emotional bond with somebody. This close emotional bond does not have to be romantic attraction. It can just be a level of trust and a level of friendship. Phrasexual. Phrasexual is the opposite of demisexual, and it is you experience a sexual attraction until an emotional bond is formed. Generally, the more you get to know somebody, the less sexually attracted to them you are. Aseflux or asefluidity. This is when your ace identity fluctuates over time. This can be between asexual labels, or it can be between asexual and sexual or allosexual. I'm now going to talk about micro-labels. Now, people seem to hate micro-labels, and I don't really understand why, because it does not affect you. Why are they called a micro-label? Well, they're called a micro-label because they are very specific, and they do imply that you fit under a wider umbrella. So all of these asexual micro-labels, they do imply that you are asexual. And they are just a very specific way of describing your sexuality. But they are so helpful. They can be especially helpful in finding a date when you are asexual. So you may consider yourself to have a complex relationship with sexual attraction, and you want to find somebody who's going to fit in that relationship. You want to find somebody who's going to match your sexual attraction. So let's dive right into these labels. Inact sexual. People who are inact sexual experience sexual attraction, but they find themselves sex repulsed. So they may be sexually attracted to somebody but have no desire or want to actually act on that. Lithosexual. May experience sexual attraction but does not want it reciprocated. Reciprosexual. Only experiences sexual attraction when they know for a fact the other person is also sexually attracted to them. Agosexual. Not sure if I've pronounced that right, it's on screen here. Little to no sexual attraction but may partake in sexual experiences. They may feel a disconnect from sexual attraction and the experiences that they are going through. Apothosexual. Little to no sexual attraction and they're sex repulsed. Cadosexual or cadesexual. This is typically for trauma survivors and those with PTSD, and it refers to feeling like you have been cut off from feeling sexual attraction, and perhaps feeling like your sexuality has been taken from you. Cupiosexual. Little to no sexual attraction, but you like sex or desire sex or want a sexual relationship with somebody. People who are cupiosexual are often sex favourable, but you don't have to be. You can be cupiosexual and sex repulsed and still want it anyway. Mersexual. Another one I'm not sure how to pronounce and I will put here. Experiences multiple ace identities. This can be in flux or at the same time, for example, being greysexual and demisexual at the same time. People on the asexual spectrum also use different language to describe their relationship to sex, as in the act. So not sexual attraction, we've covered that already, this is the actual sex itself. So sex favourable means that you have positive feelings towards sex, you might engage in sex, you might enjoy it, you might like it, and you might seek it out despite not having a sexual attraction. Sex ambivalent means you have mixed feelings about sex, so you might like some aspects and not other aspects. Sex indifference means that you have no strong feelings either way, you feel neutrally about sex. And sex repulsed means that you have negative feelings about sex, you have no interest or desire to have sex, you might feel repulsed by it, you might feel disgusted by it, or it might just make you feel uncomfortable. These can all mean different things to different people, but that's the general gist of the language. We also have our ace flag, which you can't really see today because once again I've not nailed my framing. The asexual flag can be used by any of the ace identities, although grey asexual, demisexual do have their own well-known flag. Each of the microlabels also has their own flag, but my editing skills are once again lacking. So feel free to go and Google those. If you use the LGBTQIA Wikipedia, they're all on there, as well as more information about each microlabel and some controversies with some of them. If you want to know how I specifically feel about asexuality, you can join in on Saturday, where I take part in the asexuality tag made by Cookie. Or if you can't wait till then, I've also talked about dating as an asexual with my partner Cameron, which I will put a link to the first of 2 videos up here. Definitely go check that out. And now we've come to the end of the video where I do the annoying outro, so don't forget to like this video, drop a comment down below if you have any questions, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you get notified every single time I post a new video. Videos go up every Saturday at 6 PM UK time, with at least one bonus video every single month, apart from this month, which is Pride Month, and you're getting 2 videos each week, one on Wednesday and one on Saturday. See ya!